good evening. Hello. And thank you for inviting me here today. It's a real honour. And I'll mention the reasons why shortly. But I'm sorry we can't all attend in person with each other. Obviously, we have COVID. But I'm really happy to be with you tonight to celebrate the 5th Polish Heritage Day celebration. This is something I'd like to mention. During some of the darkest days of World War II, that's why it's so important to me. And recognizing that people from many nations came to defeat what they call the Axis forces of World War II. We cannot ignore the massive contribution made by the Polish armed forces during that time and ground personnel who unreservedly came to the United Kingdom, to a country they called the Island of Last Hope. In Chester, citizens opened up their hearts and homes to the people exiled from Poland during that time. They were fighting for their freedom in a foreign land and for Poland and for Europe. One of the speeches at the time was Air Chief Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding, who summarised the Polish contribution in what I thought was the most telling of ways. He said, and these are his words, I've got it written down here, word for word. He said, had it not been for the magnificent work of the Polish squadrons and their unsurpassed gallantry, I hesitate to say the outcome of the battle, that is the battle for Britain, would have been the same. And that is quite telling. I wasn't going to say this, but it's quite anecdotal. I thought it's useful. It's something I learned a while ago, that because of the reputation, particularly the Polish Air Force, can you imagine, obviously Poland fell, and then they moved to France, that fell, and obviously they came to the UK. And in that time, of course, you've got these experienced pilots and in the UK here, and when they went up in the air, they suddenly realised how good they were, because they were battle-hardened, battle-seasoned people. And they were such gentlemen at the time. If you imagine 75 years ago in World War II, certain attitudes, particularly among some males, were slightly different to what they are today. And the Polish had a different reputation. And they had a different reputation for the ladies, because the ladies seemed to like the Polish Air Force. And what I found was absolutely amazing. We had pilots here, British pilots. And the British pilots used to go into Chester. That's where we are, obviously, at the moment. She went to Chester, and the British pilots used to pretend to be Polish pilots, purely because when they're out in the town, they got more chance of talking to the ladies during the war than they could if they were British pilots. I find that quite amazing and quite an anecdotal story. But our history is so close. And the Polish Air Force, while they were here, and the ground personnel are all here, left a gift. And some of you may not know this. It's in the town hall. It's on a wall. It's quite a large one. And they made a gift of friendship 75 years ago. And anyone can go to Chester Town Hall, and I hope you do. And you go halfway up the stairs towards the Lord Mayor's parlour, and it's on the wall there, and it's very large, about the same size, height as me, and maybe width as well. But and it's used to celebrate, and it's recognised as a symbol of our friendship. Not a lot of people know that, but I think it's something that's worth looking at, and something that you may want to see if you get the opportunity to come to Chester. You say, I'm quite delighted that these Polish meetings are taking place, bringing people learning Polish, as you're saying, Eva, and about the Polish heritage. I understand, as you mentioned earlier, that it should be held in the Storyhouse Cultural Centre, but hopefully very soon next year we'll start doing that. And I know that many of you joined and started doing the virtual meetings at the moment. We know that I hope you'll visit Chester, and we'll continue and open up after COVID. Our Polish community has been long-standing here in Chester and forms an important part of our diverse community, and we are grateful for the characteristic Polish-British solidarity. and particularly going back for all those years in our history, and cooperation, which has, I've noted that it's been really clearly demonstrated throughout this pandemic. Although this is the first Polish Heritage Day to be based in Chester, we do look forward to seeing you next year. And when you come to celebrate, maybe we'll meet in person next time. I do wish you, unfortunately, I do have another meeting. One of the benefits of Skype is I could do lots of different meetings in an evening. But so I will have to leave you, unfortunately, soon. But I wish you a great event. And I do hope you enjoy the meeting and we can maybe meet again next year. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Ida. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much, my lord.